Okay, we are recording. Guys, welcome. Remo Stanley here from Scattrick Property Group. Very exciting. Recently, we've taken on a project in Wyong, just north of Sydney. It's a 20-unit light industrial site. And the reason for the video today is I really just want to outline and show you exactly how quickly numbers can change on the project when you've got your brokers and your builders and your agents coming back to you and locking prices in with you, and giving you a better understanding of what it's going to cost to build. It's costing us $1,200. Your interest rate, again, that makes a bit of a difference, and also the cost that you can sell for, massive differences. So we have had some pricing before, but it was all indicative. We've now had pricing from our agents come back. I have just gotten off the phone with our builder, and the builder's confirmed that we're paying $1,200 a square meter for this build, whereas before it was sort of indicative between $1,150 to $1,350. We've put it $1,300. Now that we've got a lock-in price at $1,200, I'm going to obviously change the information on the feasibility to show you what this project is actually going to make. So very exciting. So let me share screen. And we'll get straight into it. Now, I'm going to run through the figures here. Before I do that, I just wanted to run through this. So if you want access to this, I can give you access to this. It's got a joint venture template on here, so you can see what the joint venture agreement looks like. I've got two screenshots on here. And the reason I'm going to share this with you is just so that you can see that this is confirmation from the agents to say that the units that we're currently selling or building, obviously to sell in the next 12 months, which is between 75 to 150 square meters, is currently selling for $2,800 to $3,000 per square meter plus GST. So not inclusive of GST. So $3,000 a square meter, we can add our 10% GST. So we're looking at $3,300 per square meter. Now I'm going to be conservative in my feasibility. For obvious reasons. We do like to be conservative. We don't want to get the maximum amount when we go in for the sales on our Feesos, because if it turns out that it's not going to achieve that, then we don't want our clients and investors to sort of be out of pocket or not make as much as we thought. So we're going to be conservative. Now, that's from one agent. The other agent that I spoke to, why is that? Oh, there we go. Again, my estimate without seeing any plans would be $2,700 to $3,000 per square meter. And he's also said, keep in mind, this is in Tuggerah, Watersvale. Tuggerah again, we're in Wyong, so very close to this area, but slightly different area, different demographic. But they've seen some smaller units achieve 3,000, and he reckons that he would see our units selling between 27 to 300. And again, when we talk to agents, it's always exclusive of GST. So it's 2,700 plus your GST. All right. So it would be between $3,000 to $3,300 inclusive of GST. So I just want you to see that we've actually got confirmation from the agents to say that this is what we're going to achieve on this. Keep in mind that we've got two exit strategies. One's actually selling the properties off and getting pre-sales from investors from Melbourne. And I've got a very good friend of mine who is well known in the property industry. I don't want to say names, but he's actually communicating with a couple of hundred investors in Melbourne. And obviously we will be presenting this deal on completion to these guys to obviously come and purchase these properties. Now, as you will see here, we have actually done a few feasibilities on this particular project. One is tier one lender with a shorter time. Now, the reason why we did this, we did a video on this particular on this particular project last week, where we only had short-term lending over, I think it was 7 months at 7%, so tier one. So we've decided to go out and do tier two lending, which is a higher interest rate over a shorter time as well as a longer time, and then we've changed some pricing and stuff like that around as well. So this information is available to you. If you want links to this, let me know. I can get you into this folder, and then you can go and actually have a look at all this information and then make a decision based on the information that we've provided, whether this is something you want to transact on. However, let's get back into the interesting part now. This project was actually for sale for $1,045,000. So as you can see here, the equity or the funds that we would need to raise for this project then bumps us up to 1.729 mil. But if we go back to what we're actually, so I've got a confirmed price now from the agent. The owner has agreed to sell it to us for 975. I love it when we get the agents to actually come down and price, and that's, it's not a huge amount, but it's a good amount. And keep in mind, at the end of the day, every bit of money that you save on the project goes back into the bottom line. So even though it's only a small portion, that actually adds to our profit at the end of the day. Now, a few things I want to outline quick is that you can see here we've got 4,534 square meters. We're only using 2,040.3, so it's 45% of the site. Now, the reason for it is that's that's getting towards the maximum amount of what we can use on the site, because you've got to allocate space for trucks to come in and turn around. You've got to have parking and so forth. You've got to have toilets on site as well for everybody to use. We do provide toilet facilities inside each unit. However, not everybody wants to have a toilet inside or a kitchenette or mezzanine. So these are all exclusive of an actual toilet and sink. It's all exclusive of a mezzanine and so forth. So we're only using 2,040 square meters. Now, what I'd like to also point out is on your left-hand side here in column B, you'll see town planning, environmental design services, op works, utilities, contributions, facilitation fees. It's all on the left-hand side here. And then you've got your construction, okay, and your project management and contingency. Now, typically on a project like this, I'd put $100,000 in on contingency. Just as a safeguard, I don't think that we're going to come anywhere near 200, but it pushes the return on equity back up to 65%. However, I'm going to leave it at 200 for the time being. Project management fee of $220,000. I was asked, does that all go to you guys? No, it doesn't. Some of those fees come to us because there's quite a lot of work that we do on the project management side of this project. Keep in mind as well as we have to go out, we have to find the project, we've got to do the due diligence, we've got to do the research, we've got to get the project under contract, we've got to speak to our solicitors or property lawyers or conveyancers and get it under contract and negotiate, and then we've got to negotiate a price. We've got to then take the project through DA and everything else, and then we've got to reach out to builders, and we've got to confirm pricing and tender documents and. So there is a hell of a lot of work that goes into a project that most people don't know about. So, and then also you've got your project manager who will be managing this project on site. We've got to pay that person a wage. So when we look at the project management part of that pays a few people's wages. There's 5 people that we have on this project at the moment that are working on this project to make sure that everything that we do on this project is confirmed, it's accurate, and so forth. So with the construction as well, most of the fees that we've got here, except for contributions, op works, demolition, design works, environmental, it's all included in the construction, okay? However, just as a buffer, we've added that in as separate line items to make sure that we've got a small little buffer there just in case, okay? So again, those are all included in construction, but we've just added it there for an extra buffer should we need to, or should there be an extended cost on those line items. So what I'm going to do now is let's talk about let's talk about interest rate quick. So we can leave it at 7% over 12 months. However, keep in mind, when you do a construction, so when you do a industrial site and the construction starts, the construction doesn't start up until you're about 6 months in, or 4 months in. So this is a 12-month project. In terms of, we got to take it through DA and all the necessary steps. We've then got to start, we've got to flatten the land. Not that this is a nice flat block of land. We've got to chop a few trees down and so forth. We've got to obviously send the project through DA and everything else. So I would say that our construction funding will only be for 6 months. The chances is here that we're probably going to go to a private funder, so we'll probably pay about 9% and not 7%. In fact, let me do you one better and put in 11%, just for the sake of the argument. And let's say that we're going to hold on to those projects for an extra 2 months to try and sell it. So we've got to pay that as well. So again, you'll never take out construction funding for the entire time of the project. You're only going to take it out when you need it, and you're only going to take out as much as you need at that time. You're not going to take out the full amount. So we're saying that we're going to take out the full amount of construction 4 months into the project, and we're paying 11%. All right. So I just want to make sure that we're super conservative on this project now. I just had confirmation from the builder. I just spoke to them, and he's confirmed with me that we can get he will build the site for us for $1,200 a square meter. And keep in mind, that's the DA and everything else involved as well. So I'm going to put in $1,200 a square meter there, and we can see here that it's pushed our return on cost up to 29%. So we're almost sitting at that 30%, and then return on equity is 67%. Now, inclusive of GST, our sales per square meter. Now, as I showed you with those screenshots, we can confidently sell at $3,000 per square meter, inclusive of GST, because our agents are telling us that we can sell for $2,700 to $3,000 exclusive of GST. So I'm just going to put in there $3,000 inclusive of GST. And that pushes our return on equity up to 85%, return on cost 37%. So when we talk about return on equity, so the equity here, line item B28, these are the funds that you or a client or an investor is putting into the project to get a return. All right. So the clients are putting in 1.6, and and then the project returns 85%. Keep in mind that we normally do a 50-50 split on our profits, or we do a 60-40 split on the profits. Okay, so on this project, we're going to be doing a 50-50 split, which means that clients will be making 50% of the profits here, which is 42.5% return on cash over a 12-month period, which in my eyes, I think is phenomenal. Right now, one thing that I also want to do quick is we are going to get some pre-sales. Now, I would like to sell 10 units before we get started and get 10 pre-sales. That would be 100% debt coverage. If we get 100% debt coverage, then we will not be going for tier 2 lending. We'll be going for tier 1 lending. So we'll be going to the big 4 banks. If we do that, we'd be getting funding for this. Again, it's commercial funding, so you're not going to get the low interest rate that we're seeing in the marketplace at the moment. We'll be typically looking at about 67%. So let's go 7%. That's going to push it up to 88%. So clients are now looking at 44%. Okay. Now keep in mind, these are all indicative at the moment. Things could change. We might not get the pre-sales that we're looking for, but after speaking with the person that I'm talking to in regards to getting pre-sales, he's pretty confident that we can get some pre-sales from his clients. Again, we can even change that back to 6 months. Again, that pushes up our profit down to 90%. I don't think we're going to get lower than 1,200 per square meter, only because that's what has been locked in by the builder. However, let's say, so when we go to market on this project, we're actually going to sell the project for 3,300 a square meter. And the reason why we're going to do it is because we can, because that's what the rest of the marketplace are selling for. Now, if we manage to, and again, this is not locked in, but let's say that we manage to get what we want on this project, it pushes our returns up to 120, so clients actually make 60% return on cash over a 12-month period. Okay, so I just wanted to do this quick video and give you guys a little bit of an outline of what is actually achievable when you do light industrial sites. They are really awesome. They're not hard to sell. There's typically more profit in these projects. Your holding costs are less because your projects are they typically turn around a lot quicker. They're easier to build. Now, when we engage with our builders typically have two ways of actually building these projects out. The first option for them is to actually build it on site. So pour the concrete slabs on site, and then once it's dry, lift it up and put it all together. Option number two is actually building it at their warehouse, where they, their offices, where they work from. And then doing that, they'd obviously have a lot more space. They then load that onto the back of a truck it out to site, and then our cranes just come in, lift everything up, put everything together like a block of Legos, and off we go. Now, our builder has already confirmed with us that they are actually going to build everything on their site and not our site. The benefit of them doing that is if they did that, they could build a lot more. They could start as soon as we give them the go-ahead to start building it. They don't have to wait till the site's been cleared and everything's been done on site before they can actually start commencement of, running concrete and getting these slabs built. So it's a lot quicker and more time efficient for them to do it on their site rather than ours. Obviously, we would have limited spaces to how much we can do on our site at any particular time. They would have multiple sites where they can do that. So it does cost a little bit more because we've got to truck it from their site. So there's obviously the costs of having trucks on site then to come and lift it. The cranes would maybe be there for a little bit longer. But keep in mind, all of the costs is all inclusive in the $1,200 per square meter build price. So yeah, look, again, 120%, that is an amazing result. I pray that we can get there. I'm confident that we would get close to that. However, this is property development, it's light industrial sites. These things happen. We do get delays. In property, nothing works out exactly as it should, or as we would want it to. Everything works out exactly as it should. So I did say before that we've got this in at 28.20. Just that in itself, it pushes our profits down a bit, but we're still making 72% return on cash on this project. Again, I said 50-50. There's no reason we haven't locked in 50-50. There is a chance that it could be a 40-60 or 60-40, 60 to the clients, 40 back to us. Those are still things that we're working through at the moment. But look, this is a really good project. It's in Wyong, 19 Donaldson Street in Wyong. If you want to check out the address, go and look at the site. You're welcome to do so. It's a really good site. If you've got any interest in this particular site, or you want to know more, flick me an email at remo@scattrickpropertygroup.com. I will get the information through to you. Reach out to me on Facebook, Remo Stander, or my Scattrick Property Group Facebook group. Or if you want to, give me a call, 0427 682 623. And yeah, let's just have a conversation. I hope this video was informative and you took something away from it. Again, if you have any questions, reach out. We'll go through that and make sure you've got some clarity on anything that you need to know. So I'm going to stop sharing screen now. And then, yeah, look, if like I said, if you want to know anything, reach out and we'll happily go through that. Until next time, have a great day.